for Dr. Satyam Priyadarshi from Halliburton. So Dr. Priyadarshi is a technology fellow and the chief data scientist at Halliburton, where he leads the oil and gas industry's first center of excellence for big data and data science. Dr. Priyadarshi is a globally recognized leader for his expertise in leveraging disruptive technologies, strategies, and talent transformation to increase business value. He has appeared as a keynote speaker at numerous international conferences and published research papers in many peer-reviewed journals and magazines. So Dr. Priyadarshi, thank you so much. He will be talking to all of you today about focusing on time to value from data to generate significant economic impact. So with that, Dr. Priyadarshi, I'm going to hand the mic over to you to kick this event off.
Thank you, Charlene. Thanks, Bobby, for inviting me to talk. I am guessing I'll share my slides and see if you can see that, and let me know, and then we can start.
Looks great, Doctor.
Excellent, thank you. It's a pleasure to be back at the Data and Analytics Summit. Thanks, Bobby, again for reaching out. And I think it's a great event. I looked at the agenda. Certainly a very good virtual event, having seen many of them in the last couple of years. I think it's a pretty comprehensive agenda put out there. So while data analytics is being talked, or a lot of work actually, a lot of people talk about digital transformation, things like that. These terms are confusing. At the same time, there are statistics when they say that projects are failing. What is it going on there in the background? And I think the answer lies in what I call that, are we actually doing data analytics at scale, or I call scalable data analytics, so reduce the time to value from the data. So what I will really do is cover in four topics, so to say, agenda-wise. One is focus on the energy industry, because that's the important part, which affects not only just energy industry, but it affects everybody else in the process. And then why do we need time to value reduction, so that we can do scalable analytics, and then create exponential value. And this is what we want to cover in this talk. Before I actually start talking about these things, let me first thank a number of people, all of those who are attending this event, after my parents and the teachers who have made me capable of delivering such talks and also do the work that I do. And of course, my family and a lot of co-workers over the last couple of decades. Through them, we have collaborated, we work together. And because of that, I can actually speak to these kind of topics and actually generate some complete transformative value in industries. Since Charlene has already given my introduction, I'm going to skip that for now. And I'll talk about at a high level where we are. So all of you must have heard about Industry 4.0, and this is an important revolution that's taking place. I look at this Industrial 4.0 revolution in a very specific, in a data focus group approach, is that if I am able to really spend time with data and what are we doing. So most of us are actually in the left-hand corner of this 4x4, 2x2 diagram, and that is the data-driven innovation and solutions. But the digital maturity doesn't really exist. Most of the industry talks about digitalization, which I think is kind of an outdated term, and only gives you only so much value if we really want to be competitive and resilient in the world that we are in. And then, of course, what we really need to do is leverage all the emerging technologies. Why I say that we need to leverage the emerging technology at speed, or what I call accelerated adoption of this technology. And I'll give you some specific example from energy industry, why that has not been a case. The goal is that can we do real-time resource optimization in a continuous manner, which will lead to disruption, whether it's a disruption within the organization or is it a disruption by somebody else. And as your digital maturity in that case increases, your automatically economic value increases. So when we look at energy industry, it is facing like what I call four major disruptive forces, or what I term is called compounded disruption. One is the evolution and maturity of digital technology that has already taken place, but its adoption has been slow in the energy sector. The second one is the energy transition landscape, right? We are talking about fossil fuels, non-fossil fuels, renewable fuels, and others. Now, how this all will work out is anybody's guess right now. While there are, in fact, in last 3-4 years, you must have seen that many of the oil companies have changed their name to energy companies. They've got rid of word oil from their names if needed. That means energy is an important part, and this energy transition landscape is a pretty complex landscape that's going to evolve, because it's not only in terms of source of energy, but it's the consumption. And the third disruptive force is that newer technologies, or called the emerging technology, whether it is the well-known of the cloud technology, or the IoT sensors, augmented virtual reality, or what I call is immersive reality. These things have come up, but how are they being applied? And the last one, which really nobody saw, and I think it is still uncertain, the total impact of the pandemic. Now, is this going to be the last pandemic? Who knows? That was, if you read the articles, it will say that, oh, 2021 will be a great year. The pandemic will be behind us. But currently looking at the second wave and the predictions of the third wave tells you a different story. So this is a highly uncertain, what you call disruptive force. Now, what we really need to do is actually tame these compounded disruptions, and in order to really be resilient and sustainable, one really need to think about convergence of various things. And this is what will lead to what I call energy 4.0, in the way we actually generate energy, the source it, transmit it, and use it with sustainability. And this requires really, both at the business term and at technology term, of course, within the right regulatory framework. So when I talk about technology and data and all, our underlying assumption is always that everything is done within the right regulatory frameworks that exist, and nothing can be done beyond outside it. So in that sense, you actually bring all this ecosystem and bring them together, and this convergence can only happen when we actually change the mindset that we really need to reduce the time to value from the data that we have, the historical data, the current data, and the future data that we will generate from the deployment of all those emerging technologies that we are talking about. Because if we don't really do the time to value reduction, then we can never be transformative. I illustrate that with a very simple diagram. Whenever we generate data and it take our sweet time to actually create value, the longer it is, we are basically running the business as it is, or maintain the operation, so to say. As long as we create more, as long as we reduce some time from the data and look at more insights, make some faster decisions, or change some strategic decision, that's when we start to actually optimize the business or the industry. But as soon as we can really bring things to real time and fully automated systems, that's when we know that we are actually able to transform the business. And that transformation on a continuous basis is what actually leads to a resilient and a sustainable business and an industry. And this is all completely in terms of data. And in order to reduce that time to value, what you really need to think about is a complete analytics value chain. It's not about just artificial intelligence or traditional BI kind of things, but it is actually looking at the whole ecosystem for a complete analytics value chain through what I call the scalable data analytics. Now, if you look at it, scalable means many things to different people. And someone's most easy, if you listen to all the conversations on AI and ML, people will say we need a good data quality, we need large volumes of data. So, volume is one scalable factor. What about the variety of data that goes into a workflow that is needed to be there? And then, of course, the variability, like especially when you are talking about oil and gas industry or energy sector, the variability in the data for a given workflow could be significant depending on what region of the world you are talking about. And hence, when you are trying to build any insights from data, they can't be the same cookie cutter solutions that can be deployed everywhere. So significant amount of what I call the customization and contextualization is very, very important. And of course, most of since in context of energy industry, it's a very highly science and engineering driven industry, or first principle driven industry. What we really need to is that augmented with the field data or the real world data, and that scalability is another important aspect of it. And then, of course, you do your traditional visual analytics and statistics and data mining. Those are, so again, you can scale on those terms. The goal is that can I move my company from predictive to prescriptive, someday to cognitive, and I put cognitive with a question mark. While it's a great marketing term, most of the energy sector really doesn't have many of the things even in the prescriptive realm. So one has to really graduate to a cognitive platform in a true sense, and that requires capture of the tacit knowledge that sits among hundreds of experienced people or the domain experts, that needs to be really codified and put into an explicit knowledge so that you can actually build things. And if you really want to do that, we can actually address many aspects of traditional questions that are asked in data analytics. What about the accuracy? What about the completeness of the data? What about the quality of the data? In fact, if we start doing scalable data analytics, we can actually address these questions in a more methodical and in a more comprehensive manner. And this is what really needs is an integration of the silos, both the cultural silo and the data silo, so you can do data science at scale, and that is what leads to automation. And this lack of scalability is what I term as the digital divide that exists, because most people really do not understand the concept of how do I actually create value from the data and actually make sense out of it at scale. And this is why you will read articles which will say that 50% of the projects fail in AI ML, or 50% of the projects fail for digital transformation. I think I personally don't believe in those numbers, but and the reason is that if you have a clear understanding of what are you trying to achieve, at what degree of automation you want to achieve, or what degree of transformation you are going to achieve, if you are able to scale it up, that's where your failure rate will go down. And for my personal experience, I see projects like that do not fail more than projects fail. So I'll not discuss the statistics here, but I would say like we are on the much higher what I call the implementation side, and that is why understanding that gap is very, very important. And this term is what I call is the digital divide, because this is the understanding gap between the leaders, the domain experts, the professionals at the field, as to what are the opportunities with the data-driven analytics or innovative solutions, and what is the transformative economic value that can be generated for the organization and the industry. And hence large number of conversations that take place is only in the digitalization arena. And as I said, it really is not the best part. It is actually what we need to really talk about is the transformation, and eventually what I call digital disruption, one more step above. Why is that? Look at the implementation. We are all talking about industrial IoT sensors, or IIoTs, and this market is pretty big, as we all know, and it will take some time. But if we actually analyze the data the traditional way of building a data model, and actually then building data warehouses or data lakes and data swamps and then data cubes, it will take us a long time. Whereas the deployment of industrial IoT sensors automatically assumes that you will be able to really look at the data in real time. And hence, can we really ignore the time to value concept when we are going to deploy these large numbers of IoT sensors in fields, whether it is oil and gas, whether it's manufacturing, whether it's solar panel farms or wind farms or geothermal, when you are able to collect the real-time data, why is not we cannot really look at the real-time analytics and make decisions also in real time and eventually increase the automation. As I said in the earlier, that adoption of these technologies has been slow, especially in energy industry. And I would compare it with other industries later. That one simple technology, which all of us are so used to, is called the search technology. Where if you look at most of the search implementations in the energy sector, it's basically what is on their website. You can search. But when it comes to operational aspects, it's very difficult because that search of metadata and the operational data is not really integrated very well. So it takes a long time to even find the data that you need to build your models or analytics or innovative solutions. And that is now, search is roughly about 30 years old in a very mature sense. And we all know that there are large giants who monetize that search data significantly. But we in energy industry or manufacturing industry, we haven't really leveraged them significantly. But if we are able to do that, we can really generate exponential value. And in order to generate that exponential value, there are three, what I call three concepts that can be taken forward very easily. That is the platform concept, which is leveraging the cloud computing paradigm, and then increased automation for actionable insights, and then and the foundation really lies in the data and data science and digital at scale. Now, this is what has been practically implemented. For example, in oil and gas industry, we were the first one to develop what I call the hybrid cloud solution, and we call brand name is iEnergy. And in the last 1 year, I can tell you that the significant deployment of it has increased because people have realized the value of leveraging scalable platforms. And this is the foundation, because it actually allows you to connect data sets so that you can actually leverage the ecosystem. And that is one of the critical part for scalable data analytics. The second part is you really want to build things that will lead to real-time resource optimization, so that you can actually look at the whole life cycle. And when you start building these actionable insights, you automatically generate exponential value. How does that really work is that you actually change your data paradigm from dark data, or the data that has not been used in the past, and the data that is going to come soon and you don't know how to handle it. But once you increase the connectivity of the data sets, you can actually now build a system for smart data, which is critical component for automation and eventually for digital twin. You can actually measure everything in terms of economic value, whether in terms of cost effectiveness, whether in terms of accuracy, or whether it's terms of revenue generation. Everything related to data can be really measured in terms of financial metrics, whether it's a small project or a very large project. And this is where they are doing data and data science at scale leads to. These are some numbers which I share, but I can tell you that the value generated through scalable data analytics is significant, much more for almost all aspects of the energy sector. And this actually, it's only the beginning, and one can really tap into these practices and take advantage of it, so that you can even take the advantage from these exponential technologies, whether it's the cloud full paradigm that I showed you some example of it. But when it comes to robotics or comes to drones and wearables, especially in energy industry, leveraging of the fiber optic data sets, as so to say. And then you can actually connect the silos. You don't have to worry about this ownership question that keeps coming up, because when you build systems of the right kind, this are automatically addressed within the right regulatory framework, and you can reduce the cost of multiple data copies, which is a significant cost, the capital loss to the companies. And you can actually now start building provenance of these innovative solutions, and that automatically leads to provenance in the data as well. So in summary, what I was talking about is that while if you really want to generate a sustainable and resilient business, you really need to think about scalable data analytics. And as I showed that, significant economic value can be generated, but especially for energy sector, I'll summarize it in one slide, is that energy sector is especially facing compounded disruption, and it's time to act so that we can actually be agile and adaptable for scalable digital transformation. This requires not only just the technology paradigm that I talked about, also significantly requires a change in the mindset, which I call the talent transformation. And one should really be technology agnostic. This is a nice picture from India. There's elephant walking on the street. We disruptive elephants ecosystem, and now today those elephants are disrupting human life. So either you disrupt yourself or somebody else will come and disrupt you. So this is a great learning message for all the people in the data world, that how do I actually disrupt ourselves so that nobody else can come and disrupt. I have written many of these things. They are available as articles, or these red color books are somebody else's book you can download from O'Reilly. I think they're still free, which talks about some of the challenges in the industry. And with that, I thank you that it's reducing time to value is a significant part, and scalable data analytics is the critical component. I wish all of you that the agenda of the conference is pretty good, so there will be some very interesting lectures as well. Thanks very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Priyadarshi. I would love to ask a couple of questions. We still have a little bit of time before our next fireside chat. And the first question I have here is, what industries are able to integrate multivariate data?
So one of the classic industry, if you look at it, of course, besides the internet companies, right, which have been really good at it, and I used to work for a couple of them before I joined oil and gas industry 7 years ago. But in recent times, if you have to look at, then it would be healthcare industry, right? Again, if you look from the regulatory perspective, right, they are also highly regulated industry, and they have gone out of their way to connect data sets to actually from pharma to genomics to cheminformatics to bioinformatics to EHR, right? Whether it's a fully mature, that's a different question, but what they have at least thought about of actually bringing things. And then if you can look at it, they have started building what are called public, so to say, databases or open access databases, so that everybody can learn from it, which is kind of right now lacking in energy sector. Recently, there have been one little attempt by UK and one company in Europe trying to put some old data for public access. But that does not transform an industry. It only gives you a little bit of tidbits here and there. But as an industry, that's not there. So I think we can learn from healthcare industry in the recent times or from internet companies from the past.
Thank you so much, Doctor. I'd love to jump into a couple more. You spoke of time to value. How is it different from other aspects for value creation from data?
Right. So if you look at traditional analytics or BI, as they say, right, people have been really, it's not that people have not looked at the data, right? Data has been always there. But what people have done is really build data warehouses and then looked at build data cubes. It takes the time it takes is significant. And then if you look at, and I can tell you a couple of years ago, before I came to oil and gas industry, some examples of like looking at the sales data for a large organization. Each piece will claim that they have the best sales in this quarter. But when you add up those numbers, that doesn't reflect what is in the finance books. So what is there? So everybody is analyzing their data sets. So there's a what I call multiplicity of data, right? It could be like, okay, Northern Virginia is in the east side or in the southeast. Like people have been doing this kind of data, not on purpose manipulation, but just because there is no integrated view, right? And that takes business to a certain degree, but it does not transform the business to the next generation. And that's why time to value from an integrated data is very, very important.
Thank you so much for explaining that. I'd love to jump into another one. Is it all about scalable data or scalable analytics?
Oh, tough question. So as first part is scalable analytics, that is very, very important. But now that we live in the world where data is also being scaled much faster, and the especially if I look at energy sector, when we are able to deploy industrial IoT sensors at various places, even on equipment which was pretty much didn't have any so-called meters, that means you can scale the data as well. So these, they go in hand and gets very complex very fast. But the technology exists to make it simple.
Perfect. And what are the needs for talent to achieve scalable analytics?
Yeah, that's a very important question, and especially in energy sector, and especially in oil and gas industry, right? If you look at the last 10 years, especially oil and gas industry has lost a large number of talented folks to other industries. And we as an industry, we haven't prepared the next generation, right? And this capture of uh, existing talent knowledge and transform them to the newer technologies mindset is very, very critical to actually leverage the scalable data analytics or creation of value and transforming the industry. And there's a lot of efforts, right? I use the term talent transformation, but there's a lot of efforts going on right now. Like, massively people are taking data science courses, but there are some gaps in that as well. People can take these courses, but they can't implement it correctly because the what is being taught to what is being implemented, there is a gap. I can say that with confidence because I'm also a professor at university. And you can see the gap that is there by traditional education and the implementation.
Perfect. And then I'd love to squeeze in one more, Dr. Priyadarshi, and that is what lessons can be taken from different industries?
Yeah, I think I look from my personal experience, right? I worked for internet companies. I worked in 7 different verticals before I came to oil and gas. And what I have seen is that when you have this knowledge of different industry verticals, it's much easier to uh, look at problems differently than what many people are in the same domain have been looking at. It could be challenging to convince in the beginning, but I think once you have the right mindset and you bring the right group of people, you can actually really take advantage of it. And it actually really reduces the pain of looking at the same data sets which you have been looking for the last 7, 8, 10, 20, 30 years. And I think this is why we should really learn from other industries more often. Some are certainly more successful or in creating value. Some may not be, but still you can look at why they failed and why we should not do the same thing.
Understood. Thank you so much, Doctor, for joining us today.